Hello everybody. In this video I'm going to go over reporting cross-country sanctions. So starting again on our Nordic officials and judges resources page, we've got on the left side we've got a section just for reporting sanctions, the sanction forms, which is a Google form, and the sanctions list. And I'm going to make a separate video dealing with the sanctions list and how to look for the to see the status of a competitor with a yellow card. So on the right hand side, there are actually two resources for the sanctions report. Cross-country, the Google form, the online form, sanctions report, which is all sanctions, even if they are being reported on a handwritten copy, should be copied over onto the Google form as well. So double reporting on that. So I'll show you why we're going to do that as we get into that. But first, it's a good idea to get yourself a hard copy. So you can click on it, it comes up, and you are able to download it, print it, bring it with you. So if you know that you're going to be at a venue where you're not going to have internet access and access to a printer, before you get in that situation, you're going to want to get some of these sanction forms printed out, and so that you have them on hand. So whether in this case where you don't have any internet access or printer access, then even if it's a written reprimand, I'm sorry, a verbal reprimand, you want to keep track of them. You want to be able to track all the reprimands that you have so you can report them. So the hard copy is there on access through the Nordic official pages, and then the sanctions report form online. I'm going to click on that back there, and it opens up. So both the hard copy form and this electronic submission form have the exact same information on them. So the questions are the same. The format is just the format format is just a different process. So it's going to ask me for email question. I've got some autofill, so it's very easy. So I'm just giving my email address, my first name, my last name. I'm not the offender, so I'm going to change that. I'm going to say that the offender's name is Jones and the first name is Jane. And then you need to provide the ski and snowboard license number for that person, should be on the start list. Name of the competition, the race code. Again, these are things that are validated through the same with the T report. You can the event lookup, so that's correlated with the correct event. Name of the competitions is the .go caps lock. Our favorite invite. And race code, NRL race starts with a U, has 4 digits. Competition date was on December 1st. Some jury action, some sanctions require a hearing if it requires a hearing, or if you provide an optional hearing, you can put the location of that, jury room, parking lot, wherever it happens to be. Then enter the time. And then the next question is asking the status of the offender. Is it an athlete or is it a team official? In this case, it's an athlete. And then from here, it goes to the ICR violation. So these are, the common ones are listed out. So one thing to note on these for reporting consistency, 343.8 is the rule that mandates that competitors must use classic technique in any classic competition. So for the purpose of reporting, you can consider any violation to be it pole height, be it violating a technique zone or violating a turning zone. Those would be all considered classic technique violations lumped together. in some cases, it could be interpreted that there's, you know, if they violate the technique zone, that's a special instruction from the jury. Sometimes that possibly could be reported as 343.3, but it's specific to classic technique that the jury makes that call. So put all classic technique violations in this 343.8. And then if it isn't listed here, this is going to be the overwhelming majority of any of the violations that we have, but you do have the option to click other and enter in your queries, you'd enter what the ICR is on this. So in this case, we're going to say that this offender committed some obstructions. What evidence was considered by jury? This could just be direct observation. It could be video. It could be information from a control team. Whatever evidence that the jury considered in their deliberations in delivering this sanction. Gives you a chance to put any remarks on it. Let's say, for instance, if I was a young competitor, an inexperienced competitor, and then you took this as a mitigating situation, and that affected what the sanction would be for the violation, you certainly want to include something like that in there. So this is committed obstruction. This is sprint heat, so we're going to say that this is a competition suspension accompanied by the written reprimand. So it's going to require a signature, and we're going to see how we're going to be able to do this without going back to a handwritten sanction form. You'll see how this Google form will populate a PDF that you can then print out and sign, have it be the official record. So if it's a monetary fine, it's asking how much it is. If it was a time penalty, you're going to ask how much it is. Those are fixed penalties, but it's a recommendation fixed penalty. So it's possible for the jury to do something different. So it should indicate what that penalty was. So we've got all the information in, and then we hit submit, and we let it do its magic, and the screen pops up, same screen that you get when you're doing the TD report. The various options on here is you can, if you see previous responses, this is going to show you all the other reports that have come through. So thus far in the season, we've got 3 sanctions from competitions in Sun Valley, and those are all there, plus the one that I just entered in this little exercise. The other option in here is to edit response. I'm not going to click on that because that's going to force me into answering all the questions again. I don't really want to edit it, so I'm not going to do that. And then the third one is to submit another response. So if I click on that one, then I'm starting over. So if you, for instance, had 2 sanctions at that event and you wanted to fill out the report back to back, you can do that right away. So I'm going to go back. Oh, I'm not going to go back because it's not going to let me do that. So what I'm going to do is take you into to see where that goes when you hit that submit button. So there's our Google Drive for the officials account. And I'm going to open up the sanction folders from this year and show you that this information that gets put in the form also gets automatically loaded into this spreadsheet. And if you use the editing tools to go back and change your response, it doesn't create another line. It just it changes it. Say, for instance, if this, oh no, it wasn't actually a competition suspension. It was just a verbal warning. Then you resubmit, and it will change that information in this sanction section. So there's where it goes on my end, on the back end. On your end, you're going to get 2 emails. One is, oh, and they're in, okay. So email number 1 that comes in is, this is a confirmation that you have filled out the sanction reporting form, and it will show you all the information that you put in, and will give you the option to edit response. So if I hit that, go through, change it, it'll repopulate in the spreadsheet. and all is good. So the second part that comes in, and this one came in a different tab here, is an email that that says, here's a copy of the sanction form that you just completed. And this isn't formatted nicely into a PDF, has all the information. And if I go back to the hard copy, if you were to fill out by hand, here's what it looks like. If you do it through the form, it looks like this. Same information, just slightly different. And it has the ability for this one to be printed now. Add your signature, add the signature of the offender, and then this can be scanned, uploaded in the TD report, or emailed directly to me. But the beauty that this is that you get this report that's easy to sign, and it's already included, so we have all the data in here. So if you were to fill out by hand this form, then I would ask you to go back and complete the Google form again so that we end up with the data all in one spot. And these also, the nice thing is at the end of the season, the Google form will produce our data. It'll summarize it nicely, and we can share some information, like we can see what the proportion of the different violations are, and all the data is summarized quite nicely. So even if you are, again, if you're filling out the paper form, then go back and complete the Google form also with the same information, some of that redundancy, so we capture all that data nicely. Okay, next video I'm going to show you where the sanction list lives. So when I take this data here that comes in, and I'm going to put it into a form that will keep track of our yellow cards, so everyone can see where their status is.